Alright, so we've had this mortar sprayer for a while now, and the biggest problem by far that we had was finding a compressor that was able to run it. My initial plan was to use, we have a little 6.5 gallon air compressor that we use for things like a nail gun, and when we first talked to Nolan we discovered that that's just flat out not going to work. Not nearly enough compressed air in that. The minimum you're looking for on this is like 12 cubic feet per minute at 90 psi. And those little spray gun, nail gun compressors can usually do like half that much. So our second attempt was to refurbish an old gas-powered big 2-cylinder compressor. Had some trouble with the engine on that being in much worse shape than we'd expected. Our third attempt was with an electric vertical, like a 60-gallon tank. That looked like it'd be perfect. Rated power was great, and I think if you're on the grid and you have access to easy 220-volt grid power, that would be a very good way to go. That should have had plenty of power to do it. Unfortunately, we're out here off the grid. The solar systems out here aren't configured to provide 220-volt power. Our generator was, and we figured, well, hey, a 5-horsepower portable generator ought to be just fine to do it. Well, after some discussion with the company that made that compressor, they told us that flat out, no way, an electric generator can't handle the startup load on it. So our last attempt, which thankfully worked out, was a little gas-powered portable compressor. I was a little concerned that the air tank on this wouldn't be up to the challenge. This is rated for 11.5 psi, 11.5 cubic feet per minute at 90 psi, which is just a hair under the minimum. I actually talked to Nolan about this before I bought it because I was getting a little tired of failing with compressors, and he said it'll work. It's at the low end, but it would definitely work, and we found that it definitely does. The important parts here, we have a 5.5 horsepower gas engine. That's as small as you would want. And the advantage you have with a gas engine is that they can handle the initial startup load on the compressor. So even though this is the same power as the electric one we couldn't get to work, this will work because it's a gas engine. This is also, it's a lot smaller, it's a lot more portable, it's a lot handier to work with. And I think for most people, I think the ways to do this are either to have a fixed shop compressor on grid power or to use something just like this. So we're going to come back in a little while. We'll have some video of us working with the mortar sprayer inside the house. This was a test run on the outside because it's easier to get to and I don't have a bunch of junk in the way. And I'm really excited to get that working on the inside where I can do ceilings and walls and make the house more livable. Hey guys, I'm Ian. Thanks for tuning in again to The Independent Spirit. We're doing some more testing with the mortar sprayer today. We're actually going to go ahead and do some spraying on the inside of my dome where we have a somewhat lumpy wall that is inward curving. So it's a real pain to try and stucco it by hand with a trowel. And that's the whole reason we have the mortar sprayer. So we're going to see how well it works. Step one, of course, is to mix up our stucco. This is a base A white stucco. I want a nice reflective white interior to the dome to really brighten it up. And we need a little bit of a wetter mixture with the sprayer, I think, than we would normally want with a trowel. So if you want to come and take a look at this, we've got this just about ready to go. You can see this slumps down. I think that's about right. So the only thing we need to do now is go ahead and wet the wall down. Let's head inside real quick and get that ready. Alright, it's a little dark in here because we don't have the white stucco in place yet. I did the bottom half of this wall by hand with a trowel. We're going to go ahead and finish the top of it with the sprayer and see how they compare. I just need to wet the wall down first. When you're doing stucco, you always want to have a nice wet base to attach to. That helps the stucco bond to the wall. Alright guys, we've got the compressor up and running. I'm sure you can hear it there. And I'm going to go ahead and fill up the hopper on my sprayer and get started here. this is covering really well. Goes through stucco pretty fast, but that's a good thing because I want to get this wall covered fast. Normally you'd want to have a second person helping you load. My second person's running the video camera right now. Let me get some more in there. I'm getting the hang of this a little better, getting better coverage here. Alright, so I have this very lumpy texture from the sprayer, which is cool, but it's not what I'm going for on the inside. You may be able to see the texture on the bottom here where I've already done it is quite a bit smoother. And so I'm going to go through with my precision finishing tool, which is a plastic bag, and smooth this out so it's uniform. Alright guys, so we haven't done the whole house yet, but we've done a good representative sample on the inside. And I'm really thrilled with the way this worked out. This mortar sprayer is going to be an immense help for me on the inside of that dome, just because the texture and the angle of the walls makes it really, really difficult to do with a trowel. So we found that this gets about the same amount of coverage for a bag of stucco as a hand trowel did, which I'm happy to see. This kind of feels like it's using a lot of stucco, but in reality it's just doing the same work faster, which is a great thing. I probably won't end up using it quite so much on the outside of the house, certainly not on areas that are up high where you have to take this up a ladder on the front of a house. It's a little trickier to use, but the inside is the big job for me. And I'm also looking forward to being able to try this out for things like my own small-scale shotcrete we should be able to do with this. So we can build some decorative rock fixtures, or maybe at the top end we might be able to do like a small root cellar that we can then bury just like the dome, and that would be really cool. I'd like to have one of those. So all in all, MortarSprayer.com, these are well worth the money if you have an application like we have here. It's a fantastic tool, and shout out to Nolan. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.